Chris Christie, I haven't heard him say a word expounding these conservative values that most of us hold true to our hearts. He did well in the campaign, but after he was elected, I'm hearing silence. The silence is deafening. I want to join other conservatives in being active in our respective Republican parties. But to me, they're asking us to come on board, put your tail between your legs, and come as POWs. I don't want to drop my conservative values.
And you don't have to, Mike, you don't have to. You have to push them. You have to keep telling them this over and over again in any way you can. You have to push and push and push. And you're correct, and there's a thin line between supporting someone and violating your principles. And I don't expect anybody to do that. This candidate has to epitomize those principles. So.
That's the point. He hasn't as of yet, am I correct?
You know, it's only been 2 weeks. There hasn't been that much done or said, but I'm not displeased with the fact that last week Chris told the NJEA Teachers Union he did not want their endorsement. That was a pretty bold move. So that was a bold move. He went and told them, he said he would not come before them for a meeting and was not seeking their endorsement because the time for school vouchers has come. So that was a good sign.
Well, then tomorrow night maybe I will attend that Lonegan County meeting they're having, the kickoff for the...
And by the way, folks, I was asked tomorrow night to be the surrogate speaker at that event. Unfortunately, because of my new position at a non-profit, non-partisan, I firewalled from doing that, or I would have been there. So, but they did actually ask me to speak at that on Chris's behalf.
But there's nothing wrong with attending that, correct?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, good enough. That's what I want to know. Nate?
Steve, I want to thank you and tell you that it was an honor to support you, and the fervor of the grassroots movement down here and across the state hasn't been seen in years and years. And that's what the Christie campaign needs and wants. And they know that they need the 140,000 voters that voted for you and that absolute madness to work with the grassroots movement. And the way I look at it, since the wounds are fresh, is that the Republican clubs across the state have to show us which is that they are conservative in tone, demeanor, and actions, and which Chris Christie will show up. The liberal, the conservative, or the one that acquired Lonegan conservative principles. And that's what I'm watching and waiting for, as lots of people across this state are. And again, I want to thank you. It was a pleasure to work so hard and to show people and talk to people. And you were just the hardest person working in politics. And I want to shake your hand.
Thank you, Nate. And what Nate said is correct. We expect these organizations to live up to the standard. We have to make them do that. Everybody in this room can be a councilman, a mayor, an assemblyman, a county committee person, a Republican club president, or vice president. Everybody. And that's what people should be striving to do. We need to build from the bottom up. We've planted seeds now that are going to grow in the years to come. And in a few years, they're going to look back and say, where did these people come from all of a sudden? We'll control the party. So.
Hey, Steve, I have a question for you, Dan Klein. Listen, you know, I don't have to tell you the state's on the brink of a complete, total financial meltdown. Corzine's come out with a budget that is going to further imperil the state financially. He's did a deal with the CWA, which basically prevents any possible savings that you might be able to attain with the public employees unions. In a message, you know, I realize you're in a nonpartisan position right now, but this is going to be broadcast on actv24.com. Any final message to the people of New Jersey? I mean, how can a sitting governor go about trying to get away with something like this when the state is in such financial dire straits?
Well, how can a sitting governor go out and attempt to borrow or claim they're going to borrow $2 billion in short-term financing in the next fiscal year just to keep the doors of government open? Just to keep it open, while accelerating these massive tax increases so they can hurry up and collect money to pay back this short-term debt. I mean, I've never seen the state in a condition like this before, where they cannot meet their current obligations, have to go borrow loan shark money, basically, at 1.5% above the LIBOR rate for 6 months, but if they don't pay it back in 6 months, the rate jumps to almost 12%. Well, in this economy.
That's Wall Street Wall Street whiz.
I mean, this is unbelievable. And the only way they can pay this is by jacking up taxes on upper income people. Folks, they're proposing the state's most massive tax increase on upper income wage earners the country's ever seen. And I'm not up in that tax bracket. I wish I was. I do. But I also understand this. We cannot pummel, beat down, and punish upper income wage earners and drive them out of the state and continue to survive as an economy. We cannot. And it will damage, everything this country is about. And that's how they're going to do it. And what's sad to see is that on the verge of this vote, which is historic and it's sweeping in its massiveness, nobody's talking about it. You're not hearing anything about this. Chances are maybe nobody in this room is affected by it. I hope you all are. I mean, but you know what? The fact that nobody's talking about it, it's got to be scary to a democracy. Right now, out in Pennsylvania, they're talking about raising their flat tax rate from 3.07 to, I think, 3.15. There's debates all over the state. There's demonstrations. Everybody cares because everybody's affected. Right now, we're going to take this one group of citizens, we're going to beat them up, and we're going to send them out of New Jersey, and they're getting away with it. And you know what? The Republican Party isn't saying a word, and that's the worst part. So.
And why is that? Are they all working together?
Well, because, we got to go after those, we got to keep things status quo and work together and be bipartisan and all that rhetoric. When you hear the word bipartisan, grab your waffles.
Tara?
I had a question about Cory Booker. I know there's a lot of talk about him right now, being switched out for Shoreside, if he's doing that fully in the polls. I did a little bit of research on him. He seems actually like a really conservative Democrat. And he's actually taken some conservative positions. He's very pro-school voucher, very pro-charter school. I was wondering what you knew about him and what you could say.
Not a lot. I mean, Newark's financial condition is not improved. Mr. Booker opposed the construction of the arena until he got elected, and after he elected, he supported the construction of the arena, which is a major loser for New Jersey taxpayers. Last year, the state pumped $48 billion into distressed aid into Newark. It was then used to pay retroactive pay raises for political hacks going back 2 years. I haven't seen any school vouchers in Newark, and I've seen no cut in spending in Newark. I've seen no reining in of the unions in Newark, and I've seen no reduction in the rate of state aid poured into Newark. So words mean one thing, actions mean a lot more to me. I mean actions, I mean results.
Steve, clarify again. This is a statement, a thank you, and a promise. We, in this past primary down here, and I go back to 1976 with Ronald Reagan, never have I seen a batch of voters more informed about issues and how their government runs. And that I thank you for. But everybody needs to build on this. And the one thing I keep telling people is, inform two people. So we go from 140 to 280 to 420. And your effort in getting that message out to everybody and informing them, like an example, nobody ever knew about how much it was a cost of a mile of road in this state versus other states. The voucher programs, the redundancy inside the departments. Everybody had a PR guy. They all had an assistant director. The 16 departments, nobody ever knew how many departments they had in here. So you ended up with 140,000 informed voters. So that's an informed electorate that can only fuel the future. So, and the key thing is, with Americans for Prosperity, plus the groups here. You got Liberty and Prosperity, there's other groups around. People have been reaching out to us from different counties. We thank you for that. We thank you for the effort. We thank you for the education. And I just tell you, the promise is it's not going to die. It's only going to grow from here. So
It is. Thank you.
that's it, brother.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard Chris Christie was going to be subpoenaed to Washington regarding his no bid contracts.
Yes.
So how's that going to affect him running here in the state of New Jersey?
I think it depends how he handles it.
Yeah.
I think if he marches in and says, hey, look, this is a political scam, and this is my record, it depends on how they handle it.